Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today on a Wednesday with our resident engineer, Mike Herzog. How's it going, Mike?
We're back, David, after the holiday break, after
Yeah.
second half of December there.
Yeah, it's been challenging getting things scheduled when, it's New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve or whatever.
That's the regular Wednesday. Like that's the way it fell this year. I think it was Christmas Eve. I knew I was out, but New Year's Eve we were out and about at the in-laws, and it was like, oh crud, I'm supposed to be doing this right now.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right. I'm sure our listeners will forgive you.
When it's one of those good breaks where you lose track of days. You get a full week off with nothing to do. It's like, what day is today?
So when there was all the criticism publicly about the NEVI program and how all these billions of dollars were allocated for it, and what was it, like 8 chargers got installed?
It's tiny, like actual like screws in the ground. It was very, very few.
The updated number is 384.
Okay.
So there's now 384
through the program
installed NEVI chargers with another $885 million allocated for 2026.
Okay.
So that's, I realize that got a lot of criticism, but that money was never spent. Now it's finally being spent. It was allocated,
not spent.
Just never spent. And so I don't know, you can't call an allocation and setting money aside the same thing as blowing it. But I just thought that, you'd find that fascinating because you spent so much time looking at these.
We have, things. It's like where we're at in Nebraska, they just approved an RFP bidders for the first one. I saw California just reissued. A whole bunch of states continue to issue these plans and request to develop. So I don't think it's going anywhere. I mean, they still want to do it. It's bumps in the road continually, but it's still something that's out there.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see. All the nuclear stocks on the ticker are back up. The U.S. government made some more comments about how they want to prioritize. They even made somebody a new director of like energy funding for nuclear or something like that. There's a new person that's their job, and so that was kind of interesting too, that they designated somebody. It's not like they didn't have enough employees in that department. They didn't probably have to go hire somebody new. They just gave somebody
somebody got a new title. Somebody got a new office chair and a new business card or two, and
we're giving you new responsibilities but no additional pay.
Congratulations.
And you'll get one less day off and you'll be expected to take calls on vacation. Anyways, so this was something that came up kind of interesting. All 50 states now have EV policies despite federal uncertainty. So a report by a group called EDF shows that every U.S. state has adopted EV supportive policies across 16 categories, including incentives, infrastructure, and fleet electrification. Arizona leads with 14, Illinois with 13 policies, Alabama with 12. Didn't see that one coming.
Alabama.
And Colorado with 13 lead with diverse policy portfolios showing EV progress isn't just blue states.
Yeah, that's a good cross section of states and political affiliations and all that. That's surprising.
Yep. Indiana and Purdue are piloting America's first dynamic wireless charging roadway for heavy duty trucks.
Cool.
I really, the wireless charging, I see it being a great thing in parking lots and things like that. The road thing, I don't know.
They did a test in Detroit. God, it's been a long time ago now, like 2020, something like that. And it was a block. That's all there is. Because it's so hard. I mean, it's just you're ripping up streets, you're doing all of these things. So it's cool to see people looking at it, but I'm with you. Just the amount of road work that's out there now. Maybe in cases where you have to resurface, all right, we lay an extra couple wires in. This is okay. We can make this happen. But coming from a city that's nothing but road work right now, I'm not excited about that.
Yeah. I see those signs that say end road work, and I want to get one of those and go stand on the corner with it.
You can be that honk, like
everybody. Yeah,
I think
honk if you
everybody
support the end of
be
road
in
work.
favor of that one.
Yeah, why can't we build roads like the Romans that don't need repairs for?
Yeah, they just last. Yeah, they last 1,000 years later.
It was their special concrete, was what it was.
It's cool. Yeah.
Um,
I'd be really interested to see how many of the nation's largest 50 cities have some type of EV policy or plan in place. I know it's not going to be all of them, but I bet there's quite a few. I bet there's quite a few. 75% of those cities have something in place.
I look at even the buses here in Omaha, and you see a lot of them are propane or something else.
We got the latest batch here, all CNG, compressed natural gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear the physical cash is going to go away. I don't know if we'll ever have that here in the United States. I know they did that in New Zealand. New Zealand got rid of all of their physical currency, and you can only pay for things now with a debit card or a credit card, things like that. There's no physical currency, but it's only New Zealand.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I see individual businesses, and a lot of them do.
Mm-hmm.
It's card only. That's what it is. We don't even want to mess with cash.
Yeah.
Policy. I don't know.
Well, I look at it in the bar industry. You get ripped off by the employees so much on giving out free drinks, so they get tips, but or they don't ring up the drinks, things like that. So to a certain degree, I understand some places that are card only, but then you look at here in Omaha, you look at Dinker's Burgers. It's cash only.
Cash only.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's like, oh, did I bring some money? Invariably.
Yeah, it's like I might have a couple bucks on me. So
yeah, hey, do you have some cash? I'll Venmo you.
When I was in Malaysia last year, there was either a retail store only took credit cards or they only took cash. It was very interesting. Either they were way beyond super tech, like pay with your phone, all of that. No, we don't even want to mess with cash, or it's just keep the credit card away from me. And the price, how much does that cost? I don't know, $5. I'll give you 4. Great.
Yeah. Well, different way of doing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like I've said before, to me, battery swap works is the solution. One day, Bill and I covered a battery swap location that was specifically this was in China, but it was specifically cement mixing trucks. And they were rolling through, getting the battery swapped out on the cement mixer, and they were going on to the job site. I would have guessed that those were probably 200-300 kilowatt hour batteries.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
And they were just in line, one after the other. And it took about 3-4 minutes to swap out the battery pack. And then the vehicle is
cement mixer is an interesting one because you got to turn the drum all the time. So that's actually a good use for battery, where you're not sitting there burning diesel that whole time.
Yeah. So there it is on the screen. You can see the cement mixers going in. So this is sped up 6x. Okay. So this is obviously faster than, because it looks like a pretty quick.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah. There it goes. There goes the battery.
Still though, I mean, we've been watching it for what, 10 seconds? So
yeah. No, I know.
Of real time. I mean, that's.
Yeah. It's
that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the way it's going to go. I mean, you look at people, it's like, oh, it takes so long to charge the vehicle. Well, you really want to talk about it going to take a long time to charge a tractor trailer? I mean, you need, and still, even with the battery swap, you're going to need megawatts.
Oh, it's
I mean,
time and energy, and there's a lot.
We're talking, those are going to be ideal locations for an SMR nuclear reactor, that's got 20 megawatts, and you're continuously charging up all those batteries. You're stabilizing the grid for the local community with all of those batteries being available to help stabilize the grid.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, like where we're at. We're in I-80, right? The major east-west interstate across the U.S. We're right on it, 1,000 miles west of here, till you get to, I don't know, California.
Well, Reno's 1,400 miles.
Yeah, Reno. Okay, about 1,400 miles of desolate areas through mountains, which is just perfect for those long range SMR. Here's a plant, you're going to stabilize the grid, you're going to recharge. It's just lives by itself in the middle of nowhere. Perfect application.
Yeah, and it's that's going to be the way. When I've looked at these ideas for autonomous trucking, where the trucks there's no driver, the trucks are just running their whole trip, that it's crazy to think of, but they're going to have such needs for juice at these locations. I mean, but if it's autonomous, there's no driver that cares, right?
There's no driver that needs to sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah. So, but my thing is, you don't want all the trucks stacking up and backing up all the way out onto the interstate while they're waiting to be able to get to a charger, right? So this, a couple of minutes each. I mean, that whole thing with the cement mixer was faster than fueling with diesel.
Yeah, that would be by the time you fill up the size of that tank.
Yeah.
With 2 pumps. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it's really quick and thing. And speaking of which, autonomous driving, one of our top stories today, a Tesla just completed a coast to coast journey driving itself the whole way.
Wow.
So using FSD. Let's see. So Musk said in October of 2016 that by the end of 2017, a Tesla would drive completely by itself from Los Angeles to New York City. Well, it didn't happen. He's a little behind on this one. Didn't happen the next year, or the next, but a decade later, it did sort of happen. So somebody went from LA to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. A guy named David Moss drove his Model 3 2,732 miles in 2 days and 20 hours without a single intervention. He was also recently the first non-Tesla employee to pass 10,000 straight FSD miles without an intervention, with that coast-to-coast trip being part of those 10,000 miles. So he's driven his Model 3 10,000 miles without intervening in its travel.
So when they talk about not, is that just on the highway, or is that like the car pulls itself in and parks itself in a spot by a charge or two?
I'm under the impression it can take itself
right.
I mean, I've seen people driving around with full self-driving, video, showing a video like on YouTube of it, waiting for cars and even going through some difficult, complicated intersections, and knowing what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's once again, this is small numbers, right? A party of one. But it doesn't really give anything about the safety of FSD versus a human driver. The miles have been supervised, but there were no interventions. But that's a pretty big milestone, in my opinion, going the whole country. It's like, God,
it's like we just talked about. There's a pretty big gap where we're at. What interstate miles I'd feel pretty good about, but boy, that's even then there's gaps in cell phone coverage. There's gaps in everything along I-80, especially when you get up into the mountains. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's one of those, like, that just, you can do it. Like there's your pilot hole there.
All right. So it was 68 hours it took. How many of those hours would he have had to stop and sleep? So we're going to say that he slept maybe 20 hours in there.
Yeah.
So 2,700 divided by 48. That'd be about 57 miles per hour. He probably drove a little bit less. Somebody had charging time too, right?
Yeah.
So still, that's averaging for his waking hours about 57 miles per hour. It's a little low, but he probably didn't drive, 16 hours a day. I would be interested in knowing how many hours it actually was that was actual driving, but still, that's a lot. Anyways, moving on. All right, we talked about, I got a couple of nuclear articles I covered yesterday. All right, General Motors Q4 EV sales dropped 43% after the tax credit rush. So obviously Q3 was exceptional because everybody was
everybody
rushing to get in there. And so they had 43% less. That's still kind of impressive, though, that they would have had 57% of the sales of that rush period. That doesn't really sound like crazy falling, but I think I was telling Bill, so in the German model, Germany a couple of years ago got rid of EV tax credits and incentives, and so their sales cut by about 20% versus the prior year, but by the following year, sales were up 30% again.
Yeah. So just that's what we've talked about.
Germany's maintained the trajectory. Yeah. So they took 3 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's probably what's going to happen here. I've got some.
Boy, it's just I don't. This is EV World News, obviously, and the source for everything. But boy, mainstream media, everything newspaper, it is just nothing but doom and gloom about EVs and EVs. Sales projections are low. This gets all of these, and it's everybody I talk to, and like Ford, like, oh yeah, did you hear Ford cut that? And how big do you think Ford's market share is? In EVs across the world? Yeah, it's a big deal. It's Ford and it makes news, but it's putting a feather on the scale. I mean, it's not making a big deal here.
And at the same time, Ford's introducing new models in Europe.
Yeah.
They're bringing back the Fiesta in Europe as an EV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they've got some others. I mean, you can buy Ford Explorers in Europe, and you have been able for a couple of years that are all electric. And it's like, why didn't they do that here?
Why isn't that here? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of like the thing about Buick. Buick has no EVs in the U.S. and they got 6 models overseas. It's like, well, maybe some of those would sell here, maybe they wouldn't. And the other thing is, too, though, they're selling into the Chinese market. Vehicle standards are a little different there. Who knows? All right. So, we were looking at that RFP for Puerto Rico, right? 400 megawatts, right?
Yep.
So SolarMax building 400 megawatt hours battery storage across 2 Puerto Rico projects in the Humacao and Ciba regions.
Okay.
Isn't that odd? A 400 megawatt hour? Who would have
right on?
That? Yeah,
right on the money there.
You had suspicions that maybe somebody had already been pre-selected and they put that out. And it's just funny. It's battery storage, and that's it right there.
That was all of us reading it. We came to is like, that's a heck of a lot of information out there for someone to prepare in a month.
Right. But yeah, Bobby, I don't know about new sales, but used EV prices are becoming amazing. Now is the time, really, because the EV incentives on the used cars were propping up.
Is gone.
Yeah, it was propping everything up to $25,000, and now there's a whole lot of vehicles in that like 10 to 15,000 range that were probably selling at $25,000 or close to it, and so it's very different space. But I thought this was I thought you'd find this amusing.
That's fine.
Yeah. So SolarMax was the one that got that RFP written, apparently. Yeah. And but still, once again, 400 megawatt hours of battery storage. What are they charging it with?
Good question. It's a great question.
Yeah, so because we were considering battery storage for that as well.
I think we actually had a pretty good portfolio put together. That would have been interesting, but I'm glad we didn't spend any more time than a couple of phone calls on it. not really putting stuff in.
No, I get that, but this was just kind of interesting. Hawaii Electric is breaking ground on Hawaii's first standalone 40 megawatt, 160 megawatt hour load shifting battery storage system at Waina, enabling retirement of 4 fossil fuel generating units. Maui is already at 41% renewable electricity. They've got a project that combines solar with 120 megawatt hours of storage powering 13,500 homes. Maui's got, it says renewable. Maui's had geothermal, They're the ones where they upset the evil spirits, and the evil spirits came and consumed the geothermal plant with lava. Yeah. So, anyways, it's really funny that's one of the things is that geothermal, according to the locals, brings bad juju.
Brings bad luck.
Yeah, and
you know what, man? If it got eaten up by lava, I can't argue with that.
yeah,
Lava came down into. I can't argue with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anytime
Well,
lava's involved.
yeah. So, anyways, talk about a meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, there you go. Lucid has managed to build 18,000 EVs in 2025, which was up 104%, but they only delivered 15,800. They added about 2,500 units to inventory. But this is a far cry from 2021, where they were promising 135,000 deliveries in 2025.
whoa.
The Gravity SUV suffered early software and quality issues. Yeah, but the Gravity is where this new SUV is, where that is going. And let's see here. Yeah, tampering with volcanoes might be bad juju. Yeah, but I mean, that's where the geothermal is, right? I mean, technically, almost all your geothermal projects are trying to get down, to where the lava is at.
It's hot, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. South Korea launches the first hydrogen fuel cell ship called the Hydro Zenith. Let me see if I get any images of this. We love pictures of boats.
It's going to be a big new fancy boat.
Oh, this isn't quite so.
It's not going to be like a little fishing skiff, is it?
Well, this is a little disappointing. Okay, I was looking for something, pretty major here. This looks like it's probably about a maybe 80-foot boat, maybe.
Yeah.
I was.
Okay. When you read that headline, I was expecting a cargo ship.
You're right. I kind of was too. And then I see this, and it's like, yeah, all those people in the picture aren't going to fit on that boat. Yeah. A clean maritime firm, Vinson, has launched South Korea's first hydrogen fuel cell powered ship, the Hydro Zenith. Let's see. It's 17.4 meters. Okay, so that's like 56 feet. Yeah. Weighs 32 tons, top speed of 20 knots, has 200 kilowatt fuel cells and 4 92 kilowatt lithium ion batteries. Yeah, that's not that exciting a news. Yeah, screw that one. Let me see. Kawasaki is building the world's largest liquefied hydrogen carrier to enable hydrogen transport infrastructure. This carrier is capable of carrying 40,000 cubic meters of hydrogen. That sounds like a lot.
Sounds like I don't have a frame of reference for that. I don't know what that is.
Well,
I mean, you know what? I'll Google it. Like going back to tanker.
40,000 pretty good size shipping boxes.
Cubic meters.
We could have AI make us a visual demonstration of what that looks like.
Oh yeah, that is quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, about 70, 40-foot containers right around 70 cubic meters.
That's a lot of containers. Yeah. We're talking like 500 shipping containers.
Okay, that's a big one. This one's a 20-foot containers. Yeah, about 33 cubic meters. Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a pretty big ship. The world's largest liquefied hydrogen carrier. A company called Trimac is evaluating Hyundai hydrogen fuel cell trucks, a North American pilot program through early 2026. Well, I give it to the hydrogen people. Nobody's going to let hydrogen just die. At some point, somebody's determined they're going to figure out hydrogen.
Yeah.
We've been going through this. The thing is, hydrogen has existed as a fuel source for longer than EVs have existed. Well,
Oh yeah.
than the modern EVs. I mean, we realized there was EVs in the 1800s, right?
But the modern resurgence. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody showing specs for a ice-powered toothbrush. If you're such a hater of EVs, you want to get rid of your electric toothbrush.
Pull the chain.
Yeah, it was had a two-stroke motor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you got to change everything. Your electric razor, you got to change it over to gas-powered.
You know what? And I know we dunk on hydrogen a lot, but if somebody figures it out, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's tough. It's tough. This has been an absolute hype cycle, off and on and off and on, and it just comes and goes all the time.
Yeah. Mike and I would like to see hydrogen succeed.
I'd love to see it.
Okay.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Against it, it's just we keep looking at the economics, and it's like
economics, the logistics, just the challenges, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It just never goes anywhere.
At the moment, it costs 6 times as much to get the same energy output as a battery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not good math. It's really tough when you've got a solution here and a different solution, and the math is just that far off. At some point, maybe somebody will figure out a better way. Some of the things we've talked about with like nuclear reactors, giving you that thermal heat that you could use to produce hydrogen. And, so maybe in a sense, you're kind of getting it for free. Hydrogen legitimately is explosive, unlike batteries, which don't actually explode, but they can catch on fire. Yeah. It's funny because people talk about EVs and they talk about hydrogen. It's like, you've heard of the Hindenburg, right? Yeah. It's like, I realize it's not the same thing, but it's one of those things it's always in the back of my mind when I'm thinking about hydrogen as a fuel source. But the truth is, hydrogen's not as explosive as the gasoline in our cars. Yeah. So, there's a reason they never had gasoline-filled dirigibles. It'd be even more explosive. Yeah. Let's see. EV charging station market projected to hit $143 billion. This is worldwide by 2031. Yeah, this is global. Global EV charging station market growing at about 21% a year, with obviously Asia Pacific leading demand. I mean, China's got so many EV chargers, and it's nuts. DC fast charging stations market projected to grow from 4.3 billion in 22. So 3.5 years ago, to from 4 billion to 121 billion by 32 in a 10-year span.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Infrastructure investment accelerating despite EV sales headwinds as governments and utilities prepare for long-term transition. Let me see. There's been some kind of breakthrough at Yale. Researchers are developing a manganese-based chemical catalyst as cheaper alternatives to precious metals for hydrogen fuel cells, potentially reducing costs. Well,
it's new chemistry. I've heard the manganese come up before, and it's one, and it's out there, and it's an innovation, and it's a good one. It's halfway in between one of those of like, this is groundbreaking to like, this is just a really, really good improvement on the technology we have. And it's just takes care of a lot of the issues we've talked about. But similar with hydrogen, you've been following it for a handful of years now. I've been following it for a while. It's just all of the announcements that come up, all of the chemistries, all of this with batteries. Don't invest. I don't want to say don't invest in things, but boy, don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Hydrogen
Yeah, there
still
you go.
requires
Yeah, it needs to
non-conductor.
be. I don't remember what the ratio is. Is it like 2 to 1 or something like that? Hydrogen to oxygen to get the biggest boom.
Hmm.
It has to be a mix. So yeah, the pure hydrogen's a little rough.
Yeah, we're
But
not
if you get a
moving.
leak, it's oxygen in the atmosphere.
Yeah. It'd be fun. We'd be demonetized if we brought a minigun on here or started blowing stuff up on the show. So yeah, YouTube would demonetize us. So got to watch that. That firearms related content on here. I'm not sure why that is. I mean, I think it's kind of fun to watch people when they're shooting off ammunition that's a couple bucks a round, and they're shooting off 1,000 rounds a minute. It's like, oh man, there went $2,000 out the barrel. Shoot. I've been talking to somebody that manufactures artillery shells in the United States. What I tell you it was like $5,500 it cost to manufacture a 155 millimeter round and $7,500 to manufacture a 200 millimeter round for artillery.
One round.
One round. Though, and they're trying to shoot off 6 to 10 rounds a minute in combat. It's like, man, that's like just loaded
Why it's
full of
number
money.
one line item of cost in the U.S.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you fired just a bundle of cash out of the cannon, it would probably kill some people too, right?
Coins. Really fill it up with
shoot.
metal.
Fill it full of pennies. Yeah, and just shoot it.
Yeah, that's what we can do with all the pennies when they go out of circulation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm just saying it's you could save some money. Just shoot the money. Yeah. Pennies would be perfect. Except for the copper, we'd have to find something. Copper is so expensive now. I've heard that actually making pennies costs more than a penny now.
I think that's the deal, right? They're mostly zinc now, aren't they? I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know if there's copper in them anymore.
They should make them out of mercury. It's something to be poisonous to handle. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. According to a Delwatt 2026 Global Automotive Consumer Study, U.S. battery electric vehicle intent is up. So despite what's been going on with incentives, consumer trends influence the rapidly evolving global mobility ecosystem. Let's see, GM closed 2025 as the number 2 U.S. EV seller behind Tesla, obviously. And GM's EV sales were up 48% year over year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny to see. You see all this negative information on the U.S. market, but, they did. But a lot of that was simply Tesla declined and GM ate up some of that market share. Let's see. Affordability is influencing EV intent. Well, duh. Purchase intent for ICE is about 61%. For hybrid is about 26%, which is about normal. Battery electric vehicle purchase intent has only risen 2 percentage points year over year to 7%.
That's it.
I'm not sure what some of this type intent really is. I mean, sales definitely went down.
I mean, is this just like a consumer sentiment, Family Feud style? Walk up to 100 people in the mall and say, "What's your next car going to be?"
Yeah. Well, listen to this. So, among global respondents, electric vehicle intent to buy is highest among consumers in China at 20%. Yet 50% of all car sales in China are EVs.
Yeah.
Oh God. When it costs 13 cents now to make a nickel. Yeah, that's bad economics, isn't it? They're probably going to stop making those. Yeah, that's a little crazy. That's real cost into making the money. The U.S. government can't just print money that way anymore.
Well, you mentioned New Zealand and all electronic. I was there, 15 years ago, and their lowest denomination coin, I think, was 10 cents. I mean, they'd gotten rid of all of that. It was weird. Even back then, it was like everything just rounded up. Almost everything rounded up to, a 50 cent or 25 cent, or it was just made it easier.
No, that definitely helps. It's always fascinating when you go to a store and you see some weird price on the price tag, and then you go up to pay for it, and it's like, oh, it'll be $16
Yeah, just
even.
right on the
Yeah,
nose.
all their prices are designed that when you add the tax, it's exactly on the dollar. Um, yeah, so some of that, I'm not sure what some of this is. Lowering fuel costs is the top reason U.S. consumers said they would consider an EV for their next vehicle purchase. Not the horsepower, not the driving experience, not the safer car, not the
Like
superior
fuel
technology.
economics.
Yeah, just the price of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you
There's
think
a
about it,
lot of truth to that. I mean, there's a lot of truth to that.
yeah. Sam's Club is selling gas right now here in Omaha for like $2.16 a gallon.
Crazy.
Okay, that makes it tougher to convince somebody that they're overspending, or for gas versus the savings they get from an EV. It's when gas is $4 that people are like, oh, I guess it's time to switch, right? Yeah, they better knock off this $4.99 in every item with no penny. Let's see. Okay, so on brands, 53% of US consumers plan to switch brands for their next car.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought
how that relates to the past and brand loyalty and
yeah. Switching intent is highest among Chinese. They intend to switch 72%.
to a different.
Yeah, and India is 70% intending to switch to a different brand. Product quality is rated top, followed by vehicle performance. Price is third as top factors for U.S. consumer choice. Yeah, I don't know. People can say what they want, right? I think so much of this just boils down to economics. We all want to think we got a good value for our buck, and I think that's a lot of it.
Well, that's the survey work. I mean, they call it the say-do factor. What do you say versus what are you actually going to do? And
right.
It's a big number, and a lot of them. Oh yeah, I'll do that when I get. No, you won't.
Yeah,
80% of the people that said they would do that, they're not going to do it.
No, it's interesting to see the difference between saying and doing. Preference for domestic over foreign brands is variable among U.S. consumers. 46% indicate no brand origin preference so long as the vehicle meets their needs. But brand origin is kind of goofy, right? So if you drive Toyota in the United States, it's probably 90% likely your car was made in the United States by American workers.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's not a lot of, I'm not saying there's not imported cars here in the United States. It's just they're not really that big of a percentage of the sales in the US. I don't know what that actually works out to be, but almost all of your cheap cars, at least, are made in the United States. Wow. Used dealer had brand new 2024 Ram ProMaster electric tall vans with shells for $30,000 with no mileage on them. Several of them. Man,
that's wild.
Yeah, that seems like an awfully good deal. And a lot of states have really big incentives if you buy in certain states. California's got big incentives for commercial.
I mean, those are the ones with, boy, if you had a service operation, small one, electrician, a plumber, something, I need my day-to-day van and just go forward. That $30,000, that'd be really tempting.
Yeah, I mean, you figure the vehicle's going to last longer. It's going to be cheaper to operate.
Well, and you're not driving around all day. I mean, you got 2 or 3 jobs at the most, something like that. So it's going to go home. It's going to be parked, and it's going to get charged every night. Those just seems like a really, really slam dunk application.
Yeah, and the thing is, even in like deliveries, from talking to Amazon drivers, if they get stuck driving a gas-powered Amazon van, they're feeling like they're being punished for something because it's such a terrible experience versus driving after having driven the EV ones. Because they have, like, when they're delivering, they have like 4 extra steps that they have to do. Like, You have to turn off the
Turn
engine,
it
pull
this,
out the
put
key.
park, do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Make
there's
it
all these
clean.
things they have to do that with the EV, they just stop and
Yeah.
get out, and the EV just stops, and the air conditioner can even keep running. And
Yeah, I'm
or the
sure
heat.
just have key fob in your pocket and
Yeah,
walk out and walk back in. Yeah.
yeah, completely different experience. To get so many more packages delivered. But these are some interesting points. I'll let only 7%. See, usually when I see data on people considering buying an EV, it's usually more like half. So I don't
And
know
that's the
exactly.
big say do. I'm surprised to see that. And so, will you buy an EV? Oh yeah, definitely. And then when it comes, no, they're not. They're gonna buy what they bought before because it's reasonable.
Yeah, I know here in Nebraska, I've talked to people that they would consider buying an EV, but they want a used one, but they don't want to order one from another city, and there's no inventory for used
Yeah, there's
EVs
not
locally.
around here. No.
Yeah, and so, yeah, well, I suspect most people have never driven an EV, so that's a lot of it. I mean, that's where the change comes in when you feel the difference, especially especially the acceleration. But let's see. U.S. Consumer Surveyed received their most recent vehicle service at an authorized dealership with 57%. So that seems high to me.
Damn.
Although independent repair facilities still represent a meaningful share of service visits, 31%. So that's fascinating to me that most people would prefer to go have it done at a dealership. Of course, if it's under warranty, you go back to the dealership.
Yeah.
If it's not, that's a different story. But certainly wouldn't go to the dealership to get new tires.
I wonder. Yeah, oh God, no. I wonder how many people have a good mechanic anymore, though. Here's somebody you trust and go, and once the warranty expires, this is where I go. I don't know. There was just, I trust the dealer. It's easy. I know they know what they're working on, what they're doing.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I got for today. We're not covering Venezuela or Iran today. We were yesterday. So you just never know what's going on there. Anyways, lots of people watching today. Appreciate everybody chiming in. I'll be back on Friday with Bill. Otherwise, everybody have a great day.